And we're live. It's Sunday night. It's Coding with Fire, and I am EJ.
And I'm Ian.
And we're doing some cool election stuff tonight, I think is the plan. There is, I don't know if you guys have heard, but there is an election happening soon. I've spent the past 4+ years of my life, every 2 years around this time being really intense about elections. And even though no enormous news organization is paying for me for it right now, I still feel the need to visualize election data. So I think that's what we're going to do today. But it's fun to do it in the open. I'm excited about that part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, do it in the open and be collaborating with, with Shirley, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, being able to work in the... Yeah, so Shirley's been working on some really cool election stuff, and because of the way we already had notebooks from previous shows that sort of touched on some of the stuff that she wanted to do, so it's made it way easier to share things and the true open source promise, right, of write a little bit of code and somebody else writes a little bit of code. Actually, I should pull it up. That even happened. Was it Phil that did the fork to the pattern notebook that we did that made the colors better?
Yeah. That was Phil, and that was cool.
Because that's because I just wrote in red and blue, right? Which is the standard browser red and blue. But if you change it out, it just looks, I don't know. It's just that's and it was cool. I didn't have to do anything for that. It just happened, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah. So, well, we wanted to maybe talk a little bit about some of the other stuff we did last week, right?
Yeah, let's go over. I mean, we keep making so many things is part of the problem, and I guess a good thing, right? But it's hard to keep track of sometimes, so it's good to go over it again.
Yeah, and so basically, I went through and found all the notebooks we've made in multiple streams, actually. So we have this one thing with most of our notebooks, but then we started doing so many COVID and so many election ones. I made collections for each one. So these are all different experiments we did, and I think
nice.
There's some fun visualizations, right? But we did a lot with the data. For instance, getting a variety of data sets in the data set.
Yeah, so much of elections work is pre-baking, or sort of it's it's mise en place of getting everything in the place where you'll need it so that you're ready for the different things you might want to talk about, because every election conversation revolves around similar, race, income, economics, how they voted in the previous elections. So you want to have all those things to grab from to talk about the things that you care about this year. So we've been putting, it's October 11th. It's been the first, week of October preparing for elections, just been putting all the data together. So we have that. Can you open the county? That's what you're in. The counties with data set thing, I think, is the coolest part, right? Because we took those CSVs, we used data set to turn them into a SQLite database, and then we made it so that anybody, including Shirley, who I think has been using it more than we have, can go in and then query from that data and get that data back in observable and do things with it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there you go.
The census data. These are previous election results, right? And
yeah, but I don't think my census. I think those census datas. I downloaded them from a notebook somewhere, and I think they got messed up. So that's one of the things that I don't necessarily need to do tonight, but I need to get all of my things in order. I have them sort of splayed around, but I don't have them all in one data set accessible place yet. Just because of the way you have to combine them all in one command, so you sort of have to have them all in one folder. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of work to be done there. But I don't know. Should we go even further out the chain? I can talk about a little bit, but the original source of this is the MIT Election Lab. And so they have a really cool website that lets you, you can get, I think we're using the US president, and they have by different, feature types. We have it by county. Yeah, county presidential election returns 2000, 2016. And then you can go in and they have a Harvard Dataverse thing, and you can download it as a CSV. So that's like what is feeding that data set instance, which we've then queried around. And it's I think there are a few other sources of historical presidential or like Senate or House data, but it's the best one that I've found. So that's powering all of this, and then Shirley's also pulling in Eve's data, and like combining it and adding to it.
Yeah, because once you get all those different things together, then you can start asking more complex questions, right? Or I guess answering more complex questions. Yeah.
I think both asking and answering. Like it just opens the breadth of things that you can talk about in the world and visualize, which is the goal.
And give context to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the more data you have, the more reasonable you can be about the fact that things are really complicated, right? Like it's not just one. It's usually not one parameter or one indicator that changes a thing. It's taking in lots of different things at once. So it's more accurate to describing the world, I think, in some ways. But I mean, for now, like even just having, so we can talk about like historical data just shows you how a particular county voted in the last election, like the percentage that they voted for each candidate. We also have Eves, which has like a ton, like a bajillion different rows of many different things, but mostly about voter registration, like how many people voted by mail in the last election, how many voters are registered in a particular county, state, things like that. So it's like sort of circa metadata around elections. I mean, it's not how they voted, but it's like about how those places vote. It also has like how many polling places they have, how many mail-in ballots they have, stuff like that. So those are two. Oh, and then you brought in census data, right? And that's like what we're looking at. Did you pre-bake in the fields we're looking at, or it can access anything?
Which one? The
census one,
parallel.
the ACS.
Yeah, by county. This one.
Yeah, so that's like the third part of the triangle, right? Is like knowing about the people that live there, their age, race, income, education, things like that.
Yeah.
And so you've pulled in, like, you have parallel coordinates for that right now, basically?
So this is pulling from a county notebook I was working on. But yeah, so you can like filter by race or any kind of population, right? And then, so yeah, one thing that might come up, right, is just different stories where this or income comes into play and policies, that kind of thing. Let's see. So I want to show though the county notebook where that comes from. I think I have to go to my own notebooks.
Yeah, because that's powering all of the work that we've done since, right? Like it's notebooks on top of notebooks on top of notebooks.
This is like my attempt to like pull in some other contextual data. So like when we mix in, these kind of things with the election data, right? We can start doing some interesting stuff.
Yeah, and you have some fun data sets in there too. Like not fun, but like interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, all the post offices, police departments. There's like 20, almost, well, I guess 18,000 police departments in the U.S.
Jesus. And those are like by points, or how you aggregated it by county?
These are aggregated by county because the original data set from the Bureau of Labor Statistics has addresses, so you'd have to geocode them to get the like points, and I haven't done that. Something I do want to do at some point. But.
Yeah, it's easy. If you give somebody a few dollars, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
Should we also? I can pull up. I'm looking at Shirley's notebook, which is like the Eves data. So I think she's been using this as a source for the stuff on her stream, where she's been exploring like a whole bunch of different election stories, which is really cool. but this is like the, I don't know how to describe it, the chopping board, the like preparation notebook section.
Yeah.
Where she does things like summarizes and finds Republican and Democratic votes, because the way that the MIT data, I just said it was really great, but you have to do, in my opinion, you need to do some processing to make it work in a way that makes sense. Like you have to sort of group by the county first, and you have to group by candidate, because they have a separate row for every candidate in every county. So for every county, like for my county, there's 4 rows, one for each candidate, and I mean, it's kind of wild to work with. So all that work is being done in like a combination of in here and data set, and maybe we could even flatten it a little bit and bring it back to data set. But that brings me to the thing I want to do. Like we've been talking about all the pieces we have in place and sort of preparing for a story that we want to tell. And now I think have finally found the story, which is like talking about outstanding vote. And this idea of it's actually I've been talking to a lot of people about this, so I have a little deck that I made of making a little website for talking about where votes are outstanding, because it's going to be a really important thing in this particular election because of the way voting is happening, and because there's so many mail-in ballots, it's not in-person voting, it's just so different, you know what I mean? And also what we've seen in the primaries this year of just how slow, most primaries you find out who won that night, but I think it was, Iowa and New Hampshire, both you had to wait until the next day, you know what I mean, to find out who won. So this idea of where votes are out, or where votes haven't been counted yet, and visualizing that and making that really clear is going to be a really important thing. So I've been trying to figure out some way to prototype or take a visual stab at not solving that, but making an attempt at visual, what does it look like to have a website where it's just we're only talking about votes outstanding. We're not talking about this candidate won or this candidate lost or whether it's red or blue or any of that. The only thing we're talking about is has the vote been counted or not, which is a thing that I think a lot of people are thinking about, both in academic field. I've been talking to academics who are thinking about it. I've been talking to journalists who have been thinking about it, and it's also not new, right? Because we were talking about this before, and you found some notebooks from 2018 where a bunch of journalists on Observable had been trying to solve this. Yeah. It was a challenge, or what was the notebook that you found?
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. So I made this a little collection so folks can peruse it if they want to. Cool. But essentially, Ben Welsh, who I think runs the data desk at the LA Times, put out, he described the project or the problem specifically here in their reporting, right? It's just 100% reporting, but there was a bunch of mail-in ballots that came in and actually flipped the election, right? It goes from 112 to 87,000. And so that's obviously confusing and sows distrust. And so this is a starting point that you could then forward, and then several people, so you see in this collection, did that. For example, Jeremiah.
Yeah, shout out to Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Another chef. He did his version here, right? So where he explains in sentence form, right? The situation.
Right.
So that's pretty interesting, right? This is kind of
this is a cool approach.
In situ version, or view of kind of what you want to enable, right?
So can you click for a few of the other ones? Because I noticed a lot of in my opinion, this is a visualization challenge, and a lot of the folks who took their stabs at solving it, I love Jeremiah's approach. All of these are in the wording. It's in the methodology. You know what I mean? That's They don't really change the visualization of it necessarily, which I thought was really interesting. It was all different wordings and approaches to explaining, in my opinion, that text that not everybody necessarily reads. You know what I mean? It still says 100% in, and then it has a little footnote that says no, not really, or you know what I mean? Okay, that one's the better one. Yeah. I like this. This one's good.
I agree that seeing like seeing the symbols, the four, like the 100% on, like if your eye scans that, it's basically like, okay, this is done,
Yeah,
right? Like I think
exactly.
it's
You're
the
not
same thing.
reading more. Oh, JK, that 100% number you read is actually a lie, and you know what I mean. Like that's kind of what
Yeah,
some of the ones had the vibe of.
right. I mean,
It's also because of the problem. Basically, the problem that we're facing as data visualizers, and this is a common problem, is that like we aren't given the data to actually do this right. You know what I mean? Like I've been a person on the receiving end of election data, and at least in my experience, like you get precincts, right? You get precincts in, and then you get total precincts for whatever feature you're looking at. You know what I mean? So if there's 100 and there's 20 in, you know what I mean? It's 20% reporting. That's like simplifying it, but you know what I mean? Like you don't know if one precinct has 100,000 people and another precinct has 10,000, right? That's just not in the data that's accessible to you when you're visualizing that vote. So given the parameters of only knowing the precincts, how do you give an honest like visualization or number or whatever that is? And I like I think that the answer is like you need more data, right? Like that's like why we did all this preparation. Is that like okay, like what you actually need to know is like we know that we know the total vote that we have, right? If it's 8 p.m. on election night and there's 10,000 votes in, right? Like we know how many there are, and so from there we have the top number. We need to know like what we're expecting from that county or state, right? And
yep.
that's how an honest person would do percentage. Like in an ideal world, we would know exactly how many people are going to vote tonight. You know what I mean? And we would tell you what percentage of that number we're seeing in the data, right? So how do we get as close as possible to that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. So did you um have more another slide?
Yeah, I was just talking about the
Because
data sourcing of like who gets live election data, you know what I mean, and where you could get these things from. And so that's one of the things that I'm working on is like trying to find, I work with a bunch of different nonprofits, like trying to find some way of getting that live data, even if it's not perfect, like figuring out some way of actually like creating a website that is, you know, a nonprofit, nonpartisan website to visualize like where the votes have and have not been counted yet. If anybody wants to get involved, like send me an email. I'm very open to collaboration. But that's what I've been like. That's the thing I would like to work towards. And I guess the closest in my mind, the closest you could get to that is Eves tells you the registered voters in every county, right? So if I'm getting a live feed of there's 10,000 votes in this county and I know there's 20,000 registered voters, you know what I mean? I think that might be a better predictor than precincts reporting. You know what I mean? And then even beyond that, I can know in last election what was the total vote, right? So I can say what percentage of last election's total vote have we gotten. That's a whole nother number. If I was like a cool smart modelly guy, I could probably give it a bunch of previous elections and I could guesstimate what it should be this year. That's a little beyond me. You know what I mean? I'm more of a data visualizer than a data creator. But like you know what I mean, that's like the sliding scale of solving this problem that I can see in my head right now.
okay, okay, cool. And so so we can do it by county still though, you think?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah. Because does the Eves data also have stuff about people registered mail in
Yeah, well, yeah. So
or
like I think literally A1A as we experienced last stream, that's the registered voters by county. So that's your. I mean, you're so much better at math than me. You went to college, but that's the is the underneath one denominator. It's the one underneath the line.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's the one. Yeah.
yeah. I'm flash. I literally the last time anybody tried to teach me math was in sixth grade.
Wow. Well, you
So
somehow
I think this is
picked up
where we
some.
stopped. I think this is like literally where I tuned out. Is like in this section.
Nice.
And
Well,
is the
but I think that's kind of why like doing it visually and building it up and being able to, if we have all these ingredients here and it's like, oh, we want to look at it relative to that or think that this might help us predict, right? And because the whole idea, yeah, is to sort of give a sense of how close we are to calling this race. It's kind of right, like
Yeah, it's like a progress bar. We talked about this before. Like, if you could just have a progress bar, I want a bunch, but first you just have a progress bar for like the whole United States. Like, what percentage of the total votes has been counted, and then you kind of just want a progress bar for every state, right? Where it's like, all right, 50% of New York's votes have been counted, 90% of Iowa's votes have been counted. And then maybe if you click into Iowa, you could see, okay, it's most of it's in this county, or most of it's not in that county, or whatever it is.
Nice. Yeah, but I guess at the same time, when you say multiple progress bars, like what pops into my mind is like what we were playing around with last week, where you're kind of filling in the counties, or right, like literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Progressing across the. I mean, it doesn't, like, I think you'd have to do something creative or try different things, because the small counties, like as they fill up, right, like it's gonna be harder to tell. So I don't think it's as straightforward as just,
No, I agree. What if it's a tree map? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to be a map. Like, the geography matters very little in this particular occasion, in my opinion. Right? Like, in fact, keeping the visual area the same is like because you want to visually compare where are the votes missing? Like, where am I not getting vote from? And then look more at that. Like, that should rise to the top of the visualization or the table or whatever it is, right?
Right. I guess also if you're plotting the difference, only places like, yeah, if you had a tree map or something, right? Like most things would eventually just disappear, right? Like once a county is fully counted, you kind of want it to be gone.
Okay, so that for me, the MVP, right? It's sort of what you were talking about. Like, you just have it go like when nothing is counted, it's white, and when it's fully counted, it's black, right? And just for the whole U.S., you just show it's filled in or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe you gradient or quantile it or whatever it is, so it's not like so you can actually pick out ones that aren't counted yet. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the most basic part of it. And then really the hard part is pulling. Like, you just want to pull registered. All right, you want to make a notebook, buddy? Is it time to get a coding?
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe do you want to start it, or should we fork like the votes
Yeah,
on
I'll
this
start
one
it.
or something?
Oh yeah, let's fork one with Eve's data in it already. That would make our lives a lot easier.
So my weird bubble lines, I think. Oh no, the last one we did was this one. This is a great one to start with. I'll put it in the chat too, so other people could.
Oh, sick! Yeah, registered voters. That's exactly what I would like to work with. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So we even have a summary of what we did.
I think things got a little funny at the end of that stream. I think we might fork this and pull it back to reality a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole black and white thing will be good. And actually, I mean, what do you think about keeping it on a dark background?
Oh, I love it. I feel so good about it.
Maybe it doesn't go to full black. It goes to, right, like...
Well, no, I love that, because then they just disappear when they're counted. So the only thing left is like where votes haven't been counted. It's like where the title is where are votes outstanding, and then it has a map where the only thing you see is where are votes outstanding. It's perfect.
Nice.
That's what I think. So you want to fork this?
But you're gonna fork it.
You want me to fork it? That's why you put it in the chat. You're like, so now you can fork this.
Yeah.
All right, give me a second. Forking. Go to the double screens.
Because I feel like...
Bro, I just had the wild deja vu, and I think it's probably because we've done this 10 million times now. So where are votes outstanding? No, this whole concept, like video chat and live stream it. I'm deleting our video summary. Great. So I'm gonna, this is always the thing. I gotta share it with the team, right? So that everyone can edit and view. Great. And then I publish. Great. And then I have a wonderful URL I can put in the chat that everybody can look at.
Yay. Very good.
It's very exciting stuff.
Up here.
So,
all right.
Here's what I think. Here's what I personally believe. Is that
what do you think?
We're cooking, this is a weird thing, because we're cooking with an ingredient that we do not have yet, right? We're cooking in anticipation of an ingredient that we will get later, which is a strange way to cook. So what we have is registered voters. What we don't have is live election data. Because it costs a lot of money, and two, because there's not currently an election happening. So what I suppose is we make fake election data. I think that's the starting place. We make some fake election data as if it were the middle of an election, right?
Yeah.
And it's like what the votes reporting is. You know what I mean?
Per county. So there's a number per county.
Yeah, but it has to be smart random per county because it can't exceed the population of that county.
Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be random. It could just be proportional. So, even just using the difference in registered voters as like a fake number.
Yeah, you could just randomize just randomize some percentage of registered voters in.
Yeah. Yeah, because also that's the other thing. We could do a set where it's like most places are 50% counted, or because
yeah,
you're gonna want sort of the beginning, middle, and end.
Totally.
Or probably a few in the middle, just to make sure that it's.
In fact, our good friend Jeremiah, friend of the show, his job at NBC was making those snapshots when we would do tests. We would have a 25, a 30, a 50, a 70. All the way through, so we could swap the data in and out in all our systems to make sure it all worked right.
Nice. Yeah. So, well, first thing we should probably do is take the visual back, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing is it's visualizing a difference. So it's looking at 2016 and 2018 registered voters. So now we're saying, well, our difference is just the difference between the total, or the final votes and the current votes. And even live, the final votes will be like an estimate, right? Until it gets to the final vote.
Correct.
But for now, we could kind of ignore figuring out the final vote. Well, no, we're faking it, basically.
Yeah, we're making it up.
Yeah. Yeah, so each county could be randomly or... Yeah.
Well, you could just... Sorry, now you could just you could randomize the percentage by county, right? And then when you pull in registered voters, just show that, right?
Yeah, just use the registered voter. Just pretend it's 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's also turnout numbers from previous years, and obviously turnout doesn't have to stay the same.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we know the total vote for a county for 2016, right?
Right. Yeah, out of the registered voters in 2016. So
yes.
Then we could use that to just guess the turnout based on each county's. Yeah.
Those are two disparate approaches. One is to guess by last election, and the other is to guess by registered voter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm down for whichever is easier. You know what I mean? I just want to take a stab at prototyping this idea of what is a visualization that only cares about outstanding vote look like. We don't care about what candidate. We can use red and blue for all sorts of shit. We don't, you know what I mean? What does it mean if you take away those other parameters that usually weigh down a visualization of having to do that on top of some other stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's do it. Do you want me to jump in and or do you want to?
Yeah, what's the best way to divide and conquer? I would say this. Let's just talk through it. How do we get our lines? I don't want lines anymore. I want just the colors of the counties.
Yeah, and I believe the lines are just going to be an extra set of SVG commands. So I can just like comment that out. I'm gonna keep it as a reference for a second because it actually does show how we get like some
Oh, it has some like fun logic in it.
visuals, like calculations if we
All right,
want
there
to
we
do
go.
something
That's a
like that.
map. That's what I'm talking
But
about.
this is, yeah, this is
Okay, so
pretty
the
much.
you're asking might be asking us, EJ, Ian, Wisconsin is completely black. Listen, I'm not responsible for the quality of data coming from the state of Wisconsin. It is not my fault that it comes as townships, even though that doesn't make any sense. And also, they put a whole bunch of they write in NA to a bunch of their data that they should have. So call if you're upset about this Wisconsin thing. Just talk to your no, solve it yourself. It's not my fault. That's what I have to say about Wisconsin.
Yeah. I mean, that said, Shirley was working on actually getting Wisconsin. Or no, we were just talking about it, right? It was.
We were talking.
It's a hard.
She was like, "Why, EJ? Why is this data all messed up?" And I said, "Surely, because all of the varied decision makers in this country have come to different decisions, and yet somehow we still have an election." And there was no real no real answer to the problem. New England reports things, and Wisconsin, for some reason, despite it not being in New England, reports things by townships, which I guess is a more precise geographic unit, but it is not how we work in counties. We want all our data in counties. If people give us in counties, it'd be great. We digress. What we have is a beautiful map minus Wisconsin.
Well, and the thing we want to do is, or another thing we can do is we can change our scale. Because we're going to now say that our
Yeah, what kind
number
of scale
always
is this? What kind of...
well, because it could go, people could either have more or less from year to year.
Totally, I
But
just
what we're
love that
talking
it's
about,
hard coded to 10,000. That was a great decision.
yeah, I mean, that was because
I'm pretty sure, didn't I do
if you
that?
don't, like, there's like 3 counties in New York and
Yeah, it
San
ruins
Diego or
everything.
something.
That sounds right.
So, ours is though, it's going to go, well, like at 0,
It's like 0 to 100, right? If it's like percent counted that we're talking about.
percent.
So should I put a little title on the
Yep.
map that's sort of more like it's like where like percent of votes counted by county? Percentage of votes of expected votes so far by county, something like that.
I think I can just do dot interpolate graves. Let's try that. Diff scale.
I mean, it's fine.
Let's do diff.
What are you doing? Making a new scale?
I was trying to just make a grayscale.
Oh, a new scale? Grayscale scale?
Yeah. To make our map black and white based, and also be percentage based.
What have you done, sir?
Well, it doesn't like that diff scale. Something I did about diff scale. I think I'm doing the color wrong.
What does O is not a function mean? Ooh, that's a map. It's a black on black map, but
yeah, that's wrong.
Okay.
Grays. Nope, still all black.
Yep.
It
is a pretty cool vibe though.
Like, that like really slowed down for me.
By randomizing something for all 3,000 counties? Yeah, that'll probably do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pre-compute that shit, bruh.
But my scale is off. Domain, range. No, this doesn't make sense. I'm supposed to do, I think it's scale Sequential. No.
Yeah, just grays with an E.
But no, I know, but like for instance, this legend shouldn't just be all black for some reason. Am I doing my domain wrong?
Oh yeah, is it the right scale? Is that diff scale? Yeah, diff scale. Scale sequential.
Oh, it's supposed to be interpolate.
That's what I was just. Yeah, exactly. There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
So instead of blues, it should be
Grays.
grays.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
But you
about,
want it to be
bro.
0 to 100.
Whoa. I like
Those
to
are
have
just
those
random.
before.
Counties reporting at random. That's kind of
This
nice.
is fun. We could spend a whole night just making really fun, semi-accurate randomized election data, if that's how you want to hang out. Because I could go deep on that.
But isn't this? No, this is right. Yeah, we want it to go dark when it's done, right?
Yeah, dark. Yeah, when it's been
I'm
counted,
just gonna
it should be dark.
All right. Yeah, I mean, but like you're saying, let me publish this so folks can. I think a couple other people have tuned in. Let's put this in the chat.
What's up, other people who have tuned in?
Yeah,
Thanks for hanging out
welcome.
with us. They
We're,
left. Somebody literally like as we said that left. So I'm just putting it out there.
It's all good. You want to make up that data?
Yeah.
Talking about using registered voters or something.
Yeah, do we got
to
counties? Can you do me like a super solid and give me a function that loads our county data and maps over it? Because I don't know. Okay, eaves by county, is that right?
Yeah, so
Should I just make one like that, except it's a percentage? How do you feel about that?
yeah, you could do that. You were saying making like a new cell to like generate this data.
Yeah.
I see, yeah. Like yes.
I'm doing like percent by county, and I'll just like return math.random. I wish I had chance. Return math.random. Uh-oh. Seems unhappy.
It's not an entry object. Oh, you have to give it here. Can I type in there for a second?
By all means.
I think it's like d dot. Or we want to do the same weird logic from the other one, because you have to give it the county ID essentially.
Oh, I see. That's
So
the
we're
first
gonna-
part of this map is the county ID, the
Yeah.
FIPS code, really.
Yeah. So this should.
Yay! That is what the people want. That's what I want.
And then so here we would say, like you said, percent by county, and if that exists, well, I guess you did it just math random, right? So it's 0 to 1.
Yes, sir. Should I have done it times 100? So is that of 100?
You could do that.
Would that be cooler behavior?
I think also we should like add something to it so that it's that we're let's say we choose 70% and then we're fluctuating by some percent. What do you think about that? So that not everything is
yes, that means I definitely want chance. So I'm gonna try and remember how to. Oh, I'm not gonna remember how to do it. I'm just gonna go to the other notebook where we already did this and get chance.js and pull it in because it's gonna make all this fun random data stuff so much better.
Nice.
It's almost like these are all generative art techniques. Like normally when I do this, I'm doing generative art. When you want to like offset from a thing. When was the last time we used chance? Probably in the generative art notebook, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Check out
if you go to collections, then under your name, like there's notebooks and collections.
I was going to do it this terrible way. You don't like this?
Well, because our stream, I think we have like our
Here we go.
list of streams.
I found it.
Nice.
Chance, chance equals required. All right, it's not that hard. I don't know why I feared it. Great. And then in the thing that we do new chance at some point. Chance equal new chance seed. Let chance equal new chance seed. So we should do that when I make my data, I guess. Percent by county. We'll do. Oh no, what the fuck? What's new map?
What?
What is new map? I want to put it here, but that doesn't make any sense.
Why did it all disappear?
I don't know. I ruined everything. I'm sorry.
No. Oh, no. Yeah, just put it. But no, you don't want it in the cell, I don't think. I think you should do that outside the cell.
That's what I'm saying. No, but that's how we did it last time to get it to work with the seed, is to do it inside the cell.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So then you can just do this and we'll return that. So you could do it the line before.
Fuck yeah.
And so I'm done with this. So.
And then we'll do, let's see, equal high. Great. And then instead of math.random, we'll chance.floating, right? Min 0, max 100. Great. And you wanted it to be like offset from something, you were saying?
Well, yeah, I was thinking it's like, okay, let's say we're 70%. Most counties are 70%, right? And
oh yeah, buddy. Make the min 70%.
But, or maybe get like 65 to 75 or something like that, right?
60 to 75.
So max could be.
Well, can it be 60 to 80? How do you feel about that? Do you hate that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's good. I see.
See, what I want to do is I want to have an algorithm that starts off by state and generates a statewide percentage reporting, and then for every county varies off that. You know what I mean? Because then it would look more like a real map. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then see, this is what I was talking about before. I could spend hours. And then what you want to do is you want to have the West Coast ones report less than the East Coast ones, because the poll closing times are different. You know what I mean? You could even pull in, if you pull in poll closing time stuff, you could actually say at this point in the night at 10 p.m., these ones will be closed, so they'll be 10% higher than these other. You could like make some really super great fake data. I don't know how deep you want to go in that. I'm just saying it goes deep.
Well, I was thinking that I want to also get the states. You mentioned you want to show states, right? Or do stuff with states. So I was just pulling in states.
Did I say that? That sounds right, though. I don't disagree with that thought. I do want states.
Or maybe you weren't focused on drawing them, but
I do need them. Yeah, they'd be handy. Oh right, I want to start with them to generate my fake data potentially.
Well, because you also said that you wanted it. You don't necessarily just want to see by county from the beginning. Or you want to?
Yeah, I think you wanted. If we were cool, what we would do is we do by state. You generate percentage 0 to 50. You know what I mean? Whatever. And then for every county, you get the state percentage, and then add subtract like 10 or 20%, and then you get a real fun map. Let's do it. That sounds like fun. I don't know why that sounds like fun. It sounds great. All right, how do I do the same thing I just did for counties? I'm going to do percent by state. By state.
Yeah,
equals.
so instead of mapping over the flat, you could map over the features of the state shapes, which are each.
So state shapes dot features.
Yeah.
And then I already have a seed, huh? Or something? let seed 2 equal high.
Oh, I mean the seeds are defined independently, so it can still be seed.
Yeah, but it doesn't like my let. What isn't? It's exactly the same code that works right beneath it. Oh, it's because I have it twice. I'm so sorry. So terribly sorry. No, my mistakes. This is about what program is like. All right, so.
Yeah, so instead of the fifth code, I think it's just d.id, and you don't have to do any of the weird slicing.
Oh, sweet. D.id. Awesome. Great. So then okay. So I want let state percent equal percent by state, and then we want s.slice. How do you get 2? 0 to 1? 0 to 2?
No, you want 0 to 2.
Okay.
I think you might even want 0 to 3.
All right. We'll try this state precinct 10, and then state percent plus 10. And then do we have Lodash in here? Because I sure would love a clamp.
We do not have Lodash right now.
Well, I'm calling it. And I'm going to need to include it.
Yeah.
All right. Equal require Lodash. Great. Great. Did my fake data work? No, it sure didn't, huh? Well, first, let's just
I think,
and then get rid of this. Just give them. So I'm thinking. I just want to see what state percent is first, right? And right now that's what's bad, right?
I think it's the ID actually. It's because you need to do this calculation. Can I come in there? And,
yeah, go for it.
So, basically, the weird slicing, we should just like redefine S to be that, and then when you slice the first 2, it's going to be right.
Oh, you mean like use variables like a real programmer? Is what you're saying?
I think. Well, it's still giving me nan. So, oh, that's the other thing. So with maps, you have to say .get, like that.
Oh, great. So now it's working. That's what I want.
That's
so much fun.
Great.
It's just weird. It just that's cool. I like it. That looks more like a map would of where votes were at. Yeah, I mean, because anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I feel like.
And it won't change, right? Because it's on the seed. Yeah, looks like it's the same.
Well, the seed, yeah, I don't think it would. I think we should have the same.
Yeah, they look exactly the same.
Hooray! Some more space up here.
I mean, this is the problem with our live stream show is that was like what I wanted to do tonight, basically. So. Oh right, should we do that? We didn't. No, we just made it look good. We just skipped to the fun part. We have to do the registered voter part now.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. We have to pretend. This is why we were going to make our fake data a total number, though. Because we need to make up. Help me again. We need to make up a numerator because we know our denominator. Is that right?
Yeah, we have real denominator, or a denominator that we think is the real number, right? Because, wait, are we using registered voters?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And I would just report that like percentage of percentage of votes. Oh my God, in the English language. But yeah, I think you'd have to figure out a nice way to describe that afterwards. But yeah, percentage of registered voters that have voted so far. But it's never going to get to 100 because not all. Yeah, I mean that's like what turnout is what percentage of registered voters actually voted, and it's never 100 because it's America. What is it normally? I'm going to Google it.
That's what I was thinking.
2016
is that like
national turnout percentage vote. National vote. Wow, 55% of voting age population, which is different from registered voter, but it's still, that's so weird. Okay, yeah, so 50% voter turnout. I wonder if that's by county. I bet there's counties with higher and lower.
Do you think does Eves not have turnout? No, or did we have?
Well, we have election data, so we have in 2016
Right.
like the total votes for that county, which is like turnout. Since we know registered voters, we can know what, you know what I mean. Now we're fucking elections wizards. We can figure out what the difference
That's
is
right.
between those two things.
So to get that, we want to get it. Well, we have Eves data in here, right?
Yes? Question mark? Question mark?
By
Yes, because that's
county?
what we're seeing right now is A1A out of Eves data. So we want yet another field from our Eves data. Yeah, you make
All
diff.
Right. So where do we have a list of the fields somewhere?
Let me look at my notes. Yeah, I have my make file too. Hold on. Just github.com. I have a whole big make file to do a bunch of this work, and I have the most interesting fields sort of separated out. I think Shirley has an equivalent of this as well. I will paste it in the chat. This is part of a make file that does a whole bunch of really cool election stuff, but it does it on the command line and doesn't really help you if you're making a bunch of observable notebooks. So a lot of what we and Shirley have done is just sort of recreating that. Stop looking at Shirley's amazing work and look at mine that I linked, please.
Wait. Oh, sorry. The problem is I can't really see screen well enough. So I'm over here.
No, I put a link in the chat, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got a whole bunch of it's all the IDs of the coolest parts of Eves.
Nice.
Made by me. Your friend EJ. Who cares about Eves?
I'm happy to find this. So we mail-in what's the difference between active and registered?
What a tremendously good question. Difference between active and registered voter.
The reason I was looking at Shirley's was actually to try to get the past election result data.
I think active, I'm flashing back. I believe active means they voted in the last election.
Got it. So I guess for us, it's like there's registered voters, there's past elections, so that gives you a sense of the turnout. We could calculate the turnout for the last election. So we could look at 2016 registered voters and 2016 election. 2018 was midterm election.
It was midterm,
right?
yes. You don't really, you have Senate by state, but only in certain states. And then you have House votes by House district. You know what I mean? So you don't have the right data to compare with.
Got it. So yeah, we use it to 2016. And then, but then for our purpose, we're using 2018 registrations because 2020 isn't out yet, right? Like we don't actually know if.
Yeah, sir. I'm trying to answer your question of what an active voter is better than the half-assed answer I just gave. The Eves comprehensive report says there are 38 states that differentiate their registered voters as active and inactive voters. An inactive voter is typically a person who appears to have moved outside the jurisdiction but has not responded to a confirmation of address notice. With proper notification, a state can remove from the voter registration if the voter registration dies, removes outside, blah, blah. So I guess those are the difference between active and registered is that like registered is not, they're not totally sure if they're still there. They're like, we think they're registered to vote here. So maybe active voter is the better number to use.
Yeah.
Oh, and we can also find out how they registered to vote, whether it was mail, online, in person, whatever. I guess, should I paste this boring link in the chat? I might as well.
Yeah.
So let's use active voters.
Okay.
I'm an
So that's A1B.
A1B.
Now, but so that's what we're using. We want to. What do we want to randomize here? So we want, or
so we want to take our data, in our data, our randomized data. We want to take the active voters and take the random number we generate now, and generate like a total number of votes cast so far, based on that number.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll do vote by county is like another variable instead of percent by county.
Yeah.
Let me find percent by county. So I'll do vote by county. Great. And then we'll say, I'll make some fake things. We'll say let county active voters equal 100. And then it'll be county active voters times. Oh no, I did it. What the fuck? Okay, well, we can start there, right? You would do the active voters time. Oh, it's because, all right, this makes more sense. County percent full S. Can't access.
I want state percent. Like you moved it up, or you didn't move state percent.
Oh, I forget what I did. Where did state percent come from? Oh, right, I see why. It's hard to move fast when you're live streaming. County percent equal. And then S will be county active voters times county percent. Yay, it's a number.
Nice.
So this is like the total number of votes cast per county. That's not right though, because all of these
it should be divided by.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, county active by county percent.
0 to 100.
Yeah, good call. Divided by 100. Something like that. Yay, that's right. So now we just need to make this county active voters number real, right?
Hang on, this is 1,000. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I was thinking about that. So I think we can do right there, instead of that number, if you do eaves by county, and you get S. Wait, S has to be, we also have to move this part. I'm going to say let fibs equal that.
Nice.
Oops. Okay, I didn't like that. Oh yeah, and then I have to get A1B for 2016, I think,
nice.
right? Or do we want...
No, it's 2016 works.
So the question now is, we're not coloring by this, but we easily could. So these numbers what do I have my color scale be?
I don't want to think about that yet. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, because that's kind of the next step of like, okay, we have a number per county. How do we show that? What that number?
It's going to be
means,
percentage.
right?
It's going to be out at 0 to 100. It's like what the percentage of votes that we expect have been counted.
But we just went away from that, right?
Well, because we have to go back to calculating it using registered voters. So given the random number, right, and the registered voters, what's the percentage? And I happen to use the county percent to generate my random number, but we need to pretend like we don't know that.
Wait, so how do we change that?
So right now we're not doing any of the registered voter math. So you have county. Yeah. Now we are. Okay.
Well, the point, like, we already have a percent because we're making it up,
Right.
and then we turned it into an absolute number of
So
votes.
so now we have votes by county. Now we need to reanalyze as if we hadn't known. Now we need to then reference to registered voters and say, okay, now what percentage of the registered voters or active voters have been voted so far? Because we like added some randomness into it yet. So now we're pretending vote by county is live data that we're getting from our election provider, and we had no hand in creating it.
I see. So this is kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we have to, and then we would be like, all right, so now if our data looked like this, and we know what registered voter is, how would we then figure out what percentage of active voters have voted in that county? Is that making sense? It's making less sense to me the more I say it out loud. So,
yeah, I'm just writing down. So vote by county is a stand-in for live election data. Pretend like this is how many votes have been cast in each county at X time.
yeah, exactly.
And these should be, let's also just floor these so that it's a whole number. You don't count 10.15 votes.
No, we don't need that. There's no such thing as a half vote in America. Thank God. Can you imagine?
So, but now I think what we could do is, well, so we were saying this is our live data, right?
Yes, sir.
And we want to say what's the goalpost for each county.
Correct.
And that's what you're saying is like the next thing. So we could use registered voters, but we kind of want to use turnout, right?
You want to use turnout. We still haven't done it with active voters. Then we can use it with another thing.
Okay. So yeah. All right.
We can do it. We can flip it out all sorts of other. What are they? Denominators.
Or numerator. Yeah, denominators.
Any denominator you want.
We faked the numerator.
Correct.
That's what we faked.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll have to write this up here as well.
So we can remember.
But so we can remember what the hell we did next time we come back to it. So right now, our diff scale, we get the percent by county and we return a diff scale. So what we want to be able to do is get vote by county, and our difference is like, or percentage, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So then we're gonna say,
well, don't hold on. Percent's gonna confuse everybody. It's more like percent in, right? You don't have to p set. I'm fine with p seat. But yeah, like it's not just percent, because percent, we're gonna have a bunch of percents floating around, I feel like.
So that's registered voters.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly right.
So this is going to go from 0 to 1. Oops. Oh, I guess we need to do... Make sure it says. So our scale needs to go... We're just going to not set it. It goes from 0.
Works for me.
But that didn't seem to do what I thought it would do.
Yeah, there sure doesn't seem to be anything filling out on the map, huh?
Yeah, so what I want to be able to do is, like, I had it so that when you clicked, it shows the county here. So we should just do the same calculation.
What is diff? Do we use diff for anything anymore?
No, we can get rid. We can start
it's
getting
confusing.
rid of that.
I'm getting rid of diff. Oh god, I'm getting rid of everything diff broke.
No, it's okay.
Don't get rid of everything that diff broke.
Oh, you can get rid of some of the other stuff. Yeah, get rid of that. So this Eve thing, this is part of the...
This is important to you?
Yeah, Eve should be there, but the next thing does not need to be. Because this gives us a particular county if we clicked on it. And so we want to run the same calculation. So what I should do is probably turn this into a function, or this part. Let's say that.
What you doing?
I was making a function that does the calculation that I was doing in the fill thing.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
So that we can reuse that, test it,
be smart
like
programmers.
Yeah. I guess if the county doesn't exist, I'll return 0 for now, but... Two, I guess it's out of the scale. County SVG. It's not expected token.
That's a confusing error. What does that even mean? Because it doesn't even call county SVG.
Oops. Sorry. No, it depends on it. Because something else depends on county SVG. Or when you click on this, county SVG gets used, I think, to calculate this, to get back the Eve data, for example. All right, so calculating percent, I should be able to say now, calculate percent, ID, I guess. I say county SVG.ID.
Some dark magic you're doing. Cannot say I understand.
So when you click on a county,
is it because it's a view of
handler? Yeah. So like I set the value of that.
That's fucking crazy. You set the value of the cell?
Yeah, the value of this. So then you can reference this as a variable.
Damn, bro, you crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. However, for whatever reason, it's not coming back defined, so I think I'm doing something wrong.
Too crazy.
I just return B, that works. So my eves by county dot get FIPS is not happy. So when I do county svg.id, it gets that. Oh, I need to get, it's not enough for it to be A1B. It needs to be like the year as well.
Type 2016 or whatever, right?
Yeah. 2016.
Damn, bro, you made a map again.
Heyo.
Look at you. What happened to Pennsylvania? And is that, what, North Dakota? Wisconsin we already talked about.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened, but their eaves, this field does not seem to exist for them. So if we click on something.
Oh, actually, I remember there being. Okay, this actually makes sense. So this is places where Eves doesn't know the active voters.
Yeah, it said that. Did it say something about 38 states do it, or?
Yes, it did say that.
Or was that something else?
It did say that was the Eves compre. Yes, that was. It did say that. Do you want to try A1A and see if that fixes those states? Is that a pain in the ass for everybody?
Yeah. So, and it's only 2016 that it doesn't have that, which is strange.
That is strange.
But I mean, A1A, I guess, would be.
Yeah, A1A seems more consistent, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be like inflated a little bit, I guess, but. We at least get. No, we don't get certain things back. I can trace it.
But this is the problem with Eves data. Like, I kept running into this and thinking it was my fault. But I'm now coming from the other angle of, like, there's shit that's messed up in the Eves data. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get everything you expect.
Yeah, but I have a variable, I think, Eve. So A1A is this. Oh, is it not? I have to convert it to a number or something?
What? That sounds right, actually. That sounds right.
No, because, like... Wait, how would there not be a vote by county for the PA? Is it... So, let me do that.
Yeah, that would be weird if there wasn't a... Because we make them for every county.
No, there's just something wrong with the fill. Yeah, so some of these texts, but these... Oh no, these are all saying 200. Oh yeah, because the vote by county is 0 for some reason on some of these. Oh, you know what I think? Because vote by county... We mapped over all years flat, which doesn't have all the counties for some reason.
Oh yeah, no, it has there's 3,300 odd county. Where does all yours flat come from, sir?
That's from Shirley's notebook, I think, or maybe as an old version. Let's see. So, I mean, we did that last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point. So FIPS is d.id, so I don't need all this stuff. Oh, I wonder if that was part of the problem. S is not defined. FIPS. So I don't know what this is supposed to be, I guess. Still missing stuff.
I wouldn't. It's not worth the trouble. Uses like this. This is I literally, like I said, I spent 8 months dealing with this. It's like missing data in weird places. Like we could go into data set and look what Eve's data looks like in North Dakota and Pennsylvania, but it looks fucking weird.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that it shouldn't be 0 in this case. Oh, no, it's because in the random number, did you use A1B? That's right. Okay, so, well, I got one state back. All right,
Pennsylvania's back. Yep.
It's a rabbit hole, though.
Yes, sir.
So
you might be asking.
So I mean,
why is
where,
why is North Dakota? Yeah, okay, you're right. We're about like an hour and a half in. You know, what I mean, we've been. This is our sort of first time. We can take a little 10-minute break if you want. You know what I mean, but basically. Yeah. I really care. I think this issue of like where votes have and have not been counted is really important, and like taking different approaches at visualizing that in like a nonpartisan way where you don't talk about the candidates. I think that's really important. So I think we took that first stage to getting the data, the mise en place for the data of like, okay, what would live election data you got from provider look like, and we sort of faked that with Chance.js for some random numbers, and then we used some real data, some Eve's data that we would have in a real situation to compare it to say, okay, of the registered voters in that county, how many votes have been counted? You know what I mean? And I think beyond that, we can do some other things of like changing the denominator of like, okay, instead of looking at the registered voters, let's look at the 2016 presidential turnout in that county and say what percentage of that it is. You know what I mean? I think doing this first and observable, but in a way to like understand like how many votes have been counted per county based on a few different ways of doing it. That's step one, and then step two might be like looking at other visualizations or potentially bringing these out into a non-observable visual, like making its own standalone website, right? And I'm already working with some nonprofits with some interested parties to like try and find somebody who can donate or give us live election data, through a news source or through an outlet or whatever, so that we can actually have this live on election night for anybody who wants it.
That's awesome. All right. So then when we get back, we can,
when we get back, well, so I think you want to do, let's do the 2016 vote, right? Because I think that that's like another way at taking a stab at this. Maybe we can clean up this notebook a little bit when we get back, we can sort of talk about what we're doing a little bit more. You know what I mean? Of like, is that worthwhile? Probably not during the stream, huh? Maybe the best next step is just do percentage of vote in, and then maybe like do some tree maps, or like we can fork it and go wild and have a little freestyle session or something like that.
That sounds good too. Yeah, I mean we can clean up and organize after the stream, but like, yeah, let's try to look at it in another way. Let's try to use a different, or in a couple ways, with both from the data angle and the visualization angle, and see, yeah, because I think it's always nice to have that exploratory phase, right? And then figure out, okay, what is it we're trying to highlight, and like we can simulate it at different, we should probably have it pre-simulated at different stages so that
Well, we can pull the variable out so that like the random number generator, that we could have like a slider for percentage of the election that like
Ooh,
affects the two numbers that it uses for min and max. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then you could animate that and watch it fill in as the votes are counted or whatever. I was also this is a
Or
total
sort of fade out.
yeah, a tangent. I was talking to a person who does forecasting at a national news organization about like potentially forecasting how long it will take to count the vote, right? So normally people forecast like based on how they voted in the last election which party they'll go to, but like I want to know based on the last election like how long it'll take to count X many votes, right?
Mm.
And the problem is like the source data for that is kind of hard to come by, but that's what's going to be really important, right? If I know that this county in Iowa last time it took 2 years, or I'm sorry, it took 2 weeks to count, and the year election before that it took 3.5 days. Like that's really important information to know now. If like it's not reported yet, and I know that it has enough people in it to sway the outcome of the state, you know what I mean? Like that's like it's hard to get at that right now is part of the reason I want to make these tools. You know what I mean? It's like it's because this election is so unique. You know what I mean? And the way that the winner of it, you know what I mean, is decided is going to be so different from any year before that you have to sort of adjust your tooling and the way you think about it to account for that. At least I think.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, let's take that break and then get into that
Perfect.
when we come back.
All right, awesome. So we'll see you guys at I don't know. You want to do 10 minutes? Come back at like 9:40, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys soon. And we're back. We're live. It's
All
Sunday
right.
night. It's the second half of Coding with Fire. We're playing with election data and this idea of visualizing where votes have and have not been counted on an election night. So far tonight, we've made some fake election night data, which I'm pretty proud of. And then we took our Eves data, which has registered voters by county, and we're calculating pretending as if we were getting live data and saying, okay, where it's 10 p.m. on election night, the more white they are, the less counted, and the darker they are, the more counted, and just ignore Wisconsin and North Dakota for now. Is that an
They're
accurate
all
summary?
counted. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all counted. Yeah. So I think at this
Yeah.
point we have our fake data, right? We've mise en place our fake data, and now it's kind of the fun part of like, what's the right visualization, and also, it should is registered voters even the right denominator, or should we use 2016 turnout?
Right. Right.
I don't know if you still want to follow that path down.
Um. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess given that it's simulated anyway, I think for now, like the thing that's probably gonna be the most interesting that we can do tonight is not gonna be like a better simulation of what might happen, but better visualizations of what might happen. Right? It's like of
Correct.
in the moment they're happening. Right? Which means that like it doesn't, as long as we're doing stuff that's not like way out of left field, like we're basing it on registered votes, so there's like some you know reasonable expectation of patterns.
Totally.
Patterns we show here should kind of show up in like the real stuff, right? So I guess with that said, it's like I'm kind of interested in improving this visualization, trying different ones. Maybe, I mean, the one thing that you said before the break that I thought was really cool is the idea of like a slider, so that we could also quickly see at
Yeah, let's do that right now. That
a
sounds like a lot of fun.
simulation. Yeah.
So where's we generate our fake data in county percent? Sorry, misfire in OBS.
Um,
Vote by county. Yeah. This is it. Vote by county. So I do. I can start by pulling out at least two variables, and one would be. It would be like vote. I'm gonna call it vote jitter, and that's like what the amount that could be added or subtracted from the state percentage.
while you're doing that, I'm just gonna import a slider that we can use.
Great. And then when I calculate state percentage, percent by state, great. I would just do state percent config equals min 60 max 80. I never understand. I just wanted to define like an object in observable, and I can never do it right or remember how to do it right. Like it wants to return or something.
Yeah, you need round brackets around your curly brackets.
Round brackets around. What the fuck are you talking about? Why? I mean, I'm doing it, but why? That worked great. Why?
Yeah, because in observable, the way you define like an arbitrary code block like this, Like you could say let x equals 5, return 5, or a, b, something like that. Like you want to be able to do, like everything in a cell is typically JavaScript. But if you define a variable, everything on the right side of that is JavaScript, and this is how you do multi-lines. So then this is how you can't do an object like this, unfortunately.
Got it.
It's certainly
maybe one day I'll figure out how this works.
Yeah, or we'll figure out how to that you don't make it so you don't have to.
Love it. Either way works for me. So if I wanted to reference your slider, can you make it not named test anymore? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. What do you want me to call it? Like simulation percent or something?
Sim percent? Sim PC? Yeah. And then if I want the value from it, the min and the max, how would I retrieve such a thing?
Oh, well, it should be, if you just do sim PCT right now, it's an array with 2 elements.
Great.
So as I move that around, yeah.
Okay, so our map is now driven by your slider, I believe. It should be. Yes, it is.
Wait, the map is?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Wow. Our county boundaries are gray. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
What's up with the jittering of Texas? What's up there? Oh, I guess they're going from 0. Some of them haven't been...
Oh. I think we should make our random number, it can never be 0 exactly.
Love it. Yeah. Great ideas.
Still jitters a little bit. It's weird.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
It may be something about our random numbers. If they're going over... Oh, that one just doesn't have any eaves. Base count. So its percent right now is not defined. Which is weird, because it should be this times that.
So wait, do you want to make this a tree map or something?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's focus on that.
I don't know if that's the best way to... I agree, this jitteriness is awful, but, I feel like I could spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. We're both doing the same thing. Yeah, so as you slide it to the end, you can see places disappear. And you're just left with certain counties and certain states. But they don't stand out enough. In fact, when you bring it to that end portion, this is the most important part, right? This is when we really need this map, is for the 90 to 100%. And it is not very varied. Okay, so the first places are extent, right? Should be based on only the ones that aren't 100%. Does that make sense? So really we want our extent to be 80 to 100% instead of 0 to 100%. Now that things have been counted.
Oh, interesting.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like we want to increase the. We want to have a steady. We always want to have a full white on the map, even as everything is counted. So the
So shouldn't
least
it
counted
be
thing should be white.
the least counted thing? So the extent that we're using, we could do, well, yeah, so the least counted right now would mean that we'd minimize, I guess, our counties where it's calculate percent of the ID. So right now it's that. So our domain should be, I guess, I don't know. To 1. So as you go,
I like that.
all right, I think I might have to render this thing in Canvas, or
I don't think that's the heavy part. I think it's the all this calculation per county that's heavy.
no, it's I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
Well, what I know is that we're basically destroying and recreating all the county SVGs every time.
Right. All right. You want to make a camp? Okay. Let me. If you're gonna make a,
So
I was gonna suggest making a new notebook anyway, where
yeah,
like we just pull in our randomized data.
right. Yeah, or I mean, that's the other thing is I could just, there's like another way I can make it a little faster by not destroying it every time, but that may be not as interesting to do right now to pursue.
Boo.
Yeah. So fork this.
That's what I think.
Okay. And what do we want to try though?
Here's my brief. I think we just want to think about other visualization methods since we're now detached from candidates of like I want to see where in the country we're still waiting for votes. You know what I mean? And maybe geography is less important than knowing like what place. You know what I mean? Those things aren't tied together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess this will just be a second one. I'm going to publish it. If it has the same name, I think it just puts a number on it.
So let me rename this first one. Is it like where votes outstanding data prep or something like that?
Well, I mean, it was more than that, right? I see. It should be about like, yeah, maybe about the
data simulation.
yeah.
Okay. Great. And then yours can be alternate visualizations or something like that.
Oh yeah, visualization ideas.
Ideas. Yes, exactly.
All right, so now I'll publish this. All right, but here, well, we can just leave it everything pretty much, and then we're just gonna not have a map soon.
Yeah, exactly. So are you into the idea of doing a tree map version of this?
Oh, I should do. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Because I think that makes the most sense in just like visualization of like, all right, so the whole country is a big box, and I want to know where across all of many states and counties there is one thing that hasn't been counted yet. It would be also interesting to figure out some way to time lapse the course of a fake election. You know what I mean? Like, you know how the bar chart races people do. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like a bar chart race, like some animation, a tree map race of counting. You know what I mean? So they get bigger as they or smaller as they get counted, until you're just left with one big box of like the thing that hasn't been counted yet. Or you know what I mean? Like you start with 3,000 boxes, and as they're counted, they like pop away. You know what I mean? And the bubbles get, or you know what I'm saying? Like
I
some
do, yeah.
some way of seeing the vote count happen visually.
Yeah, and it's interesting because then yeah, at the end you're left like all of the space is for the things that still are being watched,
Yeah,
right? Like that to
exactly.
be watched. Yeah.
That's what's so frustrating about this U.S. map, right? Is that like the most important county is going to be this tiny county somewhere in Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Michigan or something, right? Like, and to see it pop out on a map is hard. Like, you want to like make it big or like draw a big arrow around it or like something. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So, okay, so tree map is interesting. So we're basically going to calculate it. Well, here's what I always do. Um,
Take us to a tree map, sir.
yeah, let's find a tree map. Well, here's one. We did tree maps too.
Oh, we do tree maps.
Yeah.
I forgot about
I
that.
wonder if I'm gonna like remember. Oh, I know tree map. So this is code for a tree map that just needs we want to look at what that data looks like. Sorted process. Oh yeah, so it was just the emoji. So we basically just need to sort. We just need to have our counties in a way that it can calculate. There's a value. In our case, the value is the percent,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But it's the opposite of the percent because we want our value to get smaller the closer it is to 100%.
Yeah, so you want 100 minus percent or whatever it is?
Yes. All right. So instead of I need a pad.
Good magical stuff. So you forked our original notebook, and now you're modifying the map SVG to be a tree map.
Yes. I was gonna. Oh wait, yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I mean, basically, this code can all go inside what the map was.
Right,
This is
because
all
that's
like
just like
data
your view
processing.
in that notebook essentially, and we already have a map view, so it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. And this is like
Sick, making
calculate.
some data.
I guess what we could do also, I'm gonna, instead of doing the counties, it's gonna be like dips, data ID, value, calculate percent, data ID.
Nice.
I guess it's 100 minus that,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. And do you want to number it just for shits and gigs? Like put a plus sign
What do
in
you
front of
mean?
calculate percent. I don't know what it gives back. I don't know.
Oh, it does definitely give a number back.
Okay.
Because in that function we did the plus sign, yeah. So then we can leave this stuff the same. And, well, actually, okay, I'm just going to get rid of the map.
Yeah. Nobody needs EMAP.
And then color tree map. We don't need. I guess our data is getting generated here. Tree map size.
Boom. Oh, I tried. I'm right. I'm sorry.
Oh, you. All right, so the color is going to be off in this. So I'm just going to say that.
Yay, that's fun.
So at this level, their values don't seem to be changing.
Nope.
So the value is 100 minus calculate percent. Their size is all the same. So what I want to see, I guess what I should do is say, I should have done this probably a long time ago, but so those numbers aren't changing. This should change when sim percent changes. It's not because calculate percent is a function, I guess. What happened? No, it is re-rendering.
Yeah, just I don't I don't really understand what's happening right now.
Something's wrong. Oh, it's 1 minus calculate percent, I think. Because the value, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. They get bigger as the vote comes in.
So has more.
It gets smaller and then bigger again, which is confusing to me.
What we should do is a grid cartogram where each of the grids is a tree map of its county.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
how do we? Where does one keep? They got any grid cartograms and observable?
Yes, I saw one.
Oh yeah, look, Aaron Williams has one. He made bar charts in his though.
Yeah, Mike oh, that one's not published yet. This one I saw seemed like states cartogram.
Yeah, I'll drop this Aaron Williams example in the chat. That's a cool one.
Yeah, I'll put this one here soon. Oh yeah, I mean, but this is even more what we want to do, right? Because we want a visualization in each one.
Yeah, exactly. But he does some like cool hackery with columns, and he like has a lookup or something. I don't totally grok.
What is X column, Y column? Is that to calculate?
Oh, each state has a row and a column value. And so each state knows where it belongs in the cartogram. I love it. It's adorable. That's so fun.
And that is pretty cool. So we want we want to pretty much do this. Cartogram data, though. What does that look like? So each state has, oh, I see what you're saying. But then it has data attached to it, which is where we would go. We need to get our counties organized by state, right? So we can use like the FIPS code or something.
Yes. Well,
State
do we
FIPS
have
code.
to? I mean, I guess we can't. We just do we have to?
What do you mean?
uh,
Which part of it is what I meant? Like,
I don't know. Maybe that was a silly question. Yeah, do what you were gonna do. I think it's fine.
well, I think, yeah, there's two steps I was thinking. One is replicate what we need to just draw a state for each one without the bar charts.
Yeah, I think first we just want to draw a square for each state, right?
Yeah. Right. But I think I'm going to like import some things from this because like he's already got the states and the grid and all that
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
figured out. So we'll deal with the tree map later. Just going to delete all this stuff. Although I want to be able to use it actually. Sorry, I could do this later. So, importing here, I guess. Import cartogram data. And I think X column, Y column. From that.
Yeah.
And so, up here we'll say cartogram. And then we'll borrow some of this.
Love it.
He's using margin things. All right, I guess we'll even borrow his margin.
Yeah, I love margins. Margins are the key to a successful design, Ian.
They are certainly. They are.
Yeah, my cat's here.
Right. So basically, once we get, wait, what's the x-axis? Oh, is there an axis on these, or is that the state name?
No, it just has the name, I think.
All right, we're just basically taking all this.
Yeah, take it all. Thank you, Aaron
and
Williams.
Then the text. So axis position.
Hey, do observable notebooks have licenses or what?
Actually, yeah, I think they do. It may not be set. I like it though.
But you can, like, we can set licenses on ours, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Can we be MIT? That's a good one, right?
Sure.
No, we can't take his code and make it MIT.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Aaron Williams. We're here to free your code.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I was just thinking through what it means to live in an open source world.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think pulling this part, and we're gonna modify it heavily. We're not gonna have bars here.
Yeah, it's fair use anyway. We're gonna modify it beyond recognition, so.
And we'll give credit.
Of course. We stand on the shoulders of giants.
All right, I guess I need state size. X-axis. I saw something about an axis.
I don't think
Don't
I don't
understand.
think we need it. Just comment it out. Yeah. Yeah. Axis
Well,
position.
that seems like I think that's how he positions the text. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Just grab it. Nice. Text color. I'm gonna make it black.
Oh, I just didn't capitalize it. No, text color should be white
Nope. Sorry.
with the background is dark. Whoa.
Yay! That was fun. Thank you,
Nice.
Aaron Williams.
Yeah. It seems to me though that they're running up against the borders there.
It's
Those
fine.
have more space.
Don't you worry about it.
It's the height, maybe.
Let's
Where did we
get
set
some
height?
tree maps in there.
A little better. All right, so get some tree maps in there. What we really want to be able to do then is our tree map function should be called on a group and with a state's data.
Whoa.
So
It's a whole bunch of fancy shit.
yes, so where's my tree map function? It's not even a called tree map, but okay. So group element where it's going to add its rectangles or deal with its rectangles and data. So the data is going to be here. That's bad naming. I'll say counties. So pass in the counties. Instead of SVG being this, you just say do everything to the G.
Nice. And then you can do dot call and then pass this.
Yeah, also, I should do this the right way though. Did this recently. Update. Function. I'm gonna have to pass in. So for this to work, I need it, or to be a test of a single. Create SVG.
Holy shit, are you making a bunch of tiny SVGs?
No, they're not going to be as tiny SVGs, but they're going to modify an SVG. SVG node, not going to return that anymore. That did not work. Let me see if there is an SVG there with stuff in it. A bunch of rectangles.
Can I be helpful in some way?
Have. I mean, I guess I'm trying to reshape this function to, yeah, like generate a mini tree map whenever I call it, and then I want to call it for each of the states. But I'm not sure, like, I think I just have to step through getting the tree map to run once again.
Okay.
And then try calling it. Like, we'll also have to do some data work to get that to work. But yeah, so I'm not sure until we get it like showing up again. And I think I did something. So it's supposed to. Oh, no, it does return that. It's supposed to be .append G. So I want, when I create my groups.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So this, I should be able to run it. Wow. Now, so for this one, I could call for every group in the state. I want to say states dot. Do I want to say call? I think it's call.
That's what I thought.
I guess. I'm not sure it's going to pass it the right parameters.
Okay, that's weird.
Also, it's big. What's the tree map size? Should be state size. So.
Nice.
So it looks like only one got made.
Or a whole bunch of them that aren't arranged right?
Oh, it's because. No, select all states, data G. I think color tree map should say like color tree leaf. Still not. Also, they should be. Oh, we're not filling them with the same calculation when we're in the map. What was the map? Then I can actually see.
The map fill.
It was this percent calculated. Tip scale. But it's not d.id, it's.
But the transform is happening on a different thing than the rect. Like, it's not happening in the parent, it's happening in a sibling of it.
The transform for the state?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. The states aren't being. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I was trying to get this color scale to work, but let me just. Or I'll make them gray.
That seems good.
Yeah, but it looks like my test. Part of the problem is that my test thing is not. Working. Like it's not showing gray rectangles there. All right, but it's working up here. So you're saying if I move the transform. Okay. So
yeah,
we can just use the action.
Sorry, move your states. Like, states call should be at the end. You do a bunch of shit to states first.
Well, I think what he's doing here is that each one is.
Hey!
Like oh, nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what the people want right there.
Nice.
Excellent work, my friend.
All right, we're getting close, but I want to know why my rectangles aren't showing up the proper color. So I got these pre-leafs. They have transforms. They just have really tiny width and height. Doesn't make sense.
Are you trying to fit 3,000 counties in every state?
Oh yes, that is one thing. Also, it's 50 by 50, but no, like this test one here. Yeah, I guess if I do slice 100, there should be less things. But there's still all these. I think the width and height, like the values are being calculated wrong. Counties is this. It's 1 minus calculate percent. All right, well, and then when I do, actually, maybe this did work. What does the map look like now? All black.
It looked wrong. Joe Rogan time.
Zeta value is and our diff scale goes from what?
0 to 1.
Min county to 1. Okay. This should work.
Okay, they're white now.
But our counties are half. Well, what's our min?
You're just trying to get any kind of tree map to show up for all the states right now.
Basically. I mean, it seems to be working, like making. Yeah, there should be the same tree map for all the states, but they shouldn't all be the same color, and they shouldn't just be pure white. And then the other thing that's confusing me is that this one isn't showing anything.
Well, it's white.
Yeah. So.
Do you want to make it just CCC or something, just to make us more sane?
Well, that's what I tried, and it just didn't change it.
What? I missed that part.
Yeah, it was creating these like empty rectangles. So something about this. I mean, this should just be the same as the states. And then when I'll show you, we'll change the fill here.
Yeah, now they're all
Like the
all gray.
Right, they turn gray,
Yeah.
but this one does not.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, and it's strange.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, because see, some of these have like the width and the height are 0.
Oh, so it's not even gonna. And you're still slicing it by 100? Slice it by 10 or something. Like.
Oh, okay.
I was helpful.
I did my slice wrong.
I was helpful.
You were super helpful. All right, so yeah, there's not even. I don't think there's 100 counties per state, but Northeast has some pretty big ones. But All right, so that's what next step basically.
Well, wait. So what we just discovered
Well,
is that visualizing the number of counties that states have in that amount of space is hard.
well, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, we don't know that. We have to see how many,
Well, like, let me
maybe what the
Google.
hell.
Well, Texas has like 300, I think. Number of counties in Texas. Texas has 254.
Oh shit. So if I slice this,
And New York has 62. So use that as your frame of reference.
all right. So then the next thing is I want to see my value.
Pardon me.
Okay, so it's just too much. Oh, because I think these have a border. That's the problem. Or a problem. Is it? No, they don't. No, they have a little bit of space between them. So padding is 1. So if I take that out,
Ooh, that's fun.
I don't know why these are all white, but like this one's actually working.
Well, because they're not sliced, right?
Right, right. I guess if I do too many, if I did. Well, even this is not going to like. Oh, I'm not passing in the right thing, I don't think. So what I really need to do is say, I think it's dot each.
Whoa. Fancy.
And
Whoa.
well, and this is where we need to say get like state counties. And so like let state counties equal, and I guess it's for this state, we want to get all the counties that match this state. So I think I have, so state shapes dot features. We have the name and ID, which is the FIPS code.
Yep.
But our counties right now are just
the FIPS code?
like the counties is just the FIPS code and the value.
Oh, boy.
But so what we want to do is we want to find the state FIPS code given a name. Because here, or given any of the information in cartogram data, right?
Yeah, what's
Here's
it
got
got?
states,
Postal
but
code?
they don't have
All right,
FIPS code.
I got you, buddy. You want postal code to FIPS code.
Right, well, I mean, we have that, right? Like we have, well, we have name.
I got something for you, buddy.
Okay.
I'm dropping it in the chat. I think you may enjoy it.
Nice. I think I can say, yeah.
Oh, fancy, fancy. See what I'm driving at here?
Yeah. And this is from this. Posterity. I don't know why the pretty thing does that. All right, so we got that lookup. So basically we'll be at, we'll say let state FIPS equal state 2 FIPS d dot state postal. And then, so then we have the FIPS. If we say,
You want to filter counties
we could
where,
filter them
right?
here. Yeah. Yeah. County
Where
stuff.
d.fips.slice equals state fips.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that a number. I think
No,
this,
no, 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 no.
they're
Fips
not
codes
numbers.
aren't integers. No. This is so important. Sorry that I got intense. It's like the most important thing about elections. If I had a TV show, which I do right now, the thing I would tell everyone in the world is that FIPS codes are not integers, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a fucking maniac, okay? Don't turn them into numbers. They're strings. It's so important. It's so important. I have had not one but two major news networks re-engineer their databases to turn them into strings so that we can operate like normal human beings. That's end of rant.
That's great. Yeah. No, it makes sense because, like, as we saw, right, with Shirley's and the townships, they were like 8-digit numbers, but they're not numbers, right?
Yeah, they're not numbers because the
Or
problem
yeah,
is that you'll start collapsing things into states and not knowing it because you're losing all like it's like Alabama, California. It's like the first 10 alphabetical states like you are just get anyway. It's a terrible clusterfuck. It's hard to fix once you get into that territory. But yeah, there's different FIPS codes. We're working with 5 county FIPS codes, but there are township FIPS codes where they append another 3 numbers and make them 8. The first 5 being the county that the township falls under, and the last 3 being the township ID within that state. And that's just even more fucking complicated. Really, I should write a blog post about this. It's going backwards now, though, huh?
yep, yeah. Because I was supposed to do. Tree map color should be 1 minus d dot value. And little weird tails on some of these. It's like one of the
They do have
recs just has.
fun. They do have delightful little tales. That's looking sick, though. That's a pretty cool screenshot right there.
Yeah, that's good.
So can you click? Sorry to be like this. Can you click on a square now and figure out like what the fuck county that is now?
We could do that.
Is it a worthwhile use of time?
I think so. I mean, it's we had that with the state too. I think, yeah, I think absolutely actually. So basically, each of the counties. So the tree map knows what county it is. All right, so that's interesting. So we're gonna say. We have our SVG. We return the node here. So the trick is you essentially say SVG node.value, and we'll just set it to be the first one, I guess, by default. So this, and then this is a view of. So this cartogram, so now below here, we should look at cartogram, and we get FIPS code and its value. What we want to do is that when you click on one, it it changes that. And so the weird thing is that in the we want to essentially, I guess we want to pass in a like onClick function. So we'll define function onClick, and we'll get back a county, let's say. Or we can follow a D3 pattern. And so then we're going to want to do the same thing. Node.value equals D, and this dispatch thing. Just copy paste it every time. And so in our color tree map, when you click on a leaf, you say on click. And I guess if you can do this now. Look. I think it's changing the fips. Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, we should have it be on like hover or something, right? So you can like. For now.
No, onClick is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and
the reason I say that is I wanna stay true to our promise, and I took a first step on that. The last thing, the states are a little small, and we're a little bit limited by the space that observable gives us. I want to try embedding this in a plain HTML thing and giving it like more width. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And hosting it on like I have an S3 bucket I can throw it on or something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like a full width of a page that pulls in this. If you think that's okay.
I think so.
Because then we can buy ourselves a little more space. And so the way I did that is I made state size equal to like width divided by 15, because it looks like there's 15 columns right now with a little space on either side. So like they're overlapping a little. I don't know. I'm curious to. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to take the first step at making it like more responsive, quote unquote, so that if it were embedded on a bigger page with a real bigger width, that it would actually get bigger.
One thing I wonder is if so the axis position, yeah, we need to like tell it about that. So you made it bigger, which makes the tree maps bigger, but we didn't. I think we need to tell in our imports. Here you can say width.
Ooh. Damn, bro, that's fancy. Damn, bro. I don't know what happened.
Well, I think because it wasn't respecting it before, but this still looks cooler. I think we can just up the state size. Like if you just multiply it by some factor, even
double. Divide it by 12 or something?
Yeah. Did you run it?
You can do it. You got it? I got it. You got it?
Oh, I thought you were doing it. Yeah, sorry.
13? How's that?
But
great. Still the labels are funky.
They are. It looks kind of like they're being rendered over somehow. Let's see. States append text. Oh. No, that shouldn't. Oh no, everything's just off. Not
That's what I'm
just.
saying. It's a little too. The Y is a little too far on the
Somehow
label
the text.
and and the drawing order, and because they overlap, you kind of don't want to append them to the state. You kind of want to do it again later and just do the labels.
Plus state size. Maybe we don't want that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's the stuff right there.
I feel like the margin top could be higher, but
I think you're right about that. But no, humor me. So now I want to put this in like a plain index.html file and include it on a page and let it fill my browser with
yeah.
goodness.
So you really just want to say you can embed, and you should have that interface now because they launched it publicly.
I don't want any Chrome around it or anything though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's
I
several
want
options, so you can try each one and see. There's more than when we looked at it last time, basically.
Let's see. I'm gonna open up code. I'm gonna make myself a new little HTML file. All right, let's see. So we'll call this. What should it be? We'll call it a outstanding vote.html for now. And now you say, if I go back to observable and go back to our notebook, I can do share? No. Publish?
It's in the cell.
Oh, in the
There
cell?
should be an
Oh,
embed.
embed. Okay,
Oh
got
no,
it.
there's also an embed menu in that, I think.
And I want, my preview doesn't have anything in it. I want, what is this called?
Cartogram
Cartogram.
and probably SimPCT. Like if you want to let them also
Great.
change the percent right now.
Embed.
I don't know.
I don't know. Did you do it? Because it doesn't look. It doesn't show up for me. Oh, there you go. It just took a while. My bad. No, that looks good, and it's smaller also, which is what one would expect. Okay, so they have iframe runtime with JavaScript. Yeah. Perfect. Copy. Go to this. Great. I'll say where are votes outstanding prototype. Save outstanding, and I'll open it with Brave. Hey, that's pretty cool. So it's
Nice.
it's real big on my embed now. How do I make it taller? Should I use my own CSS to do that, I guess?
Well, one thing is that the height is hard coded. I'm about to change it to be like 9 times state size or something.
This is really sick. This actually makes me feel a lot better that it's so easy to get things out of the observable world and still get all the benefits of it. Because I can't, you know what I mean? Like certain clients, you just don't want to send an observable notebook. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like it's above certain
Right.
people's heads without you walking them through it. You know what I mean?
Right. So if it's the only thing, just like.
Whereas this, like, I literally have a client that I want to send this to. I mean, I'm going to send them the site with the one slider and the one visualization, rather than the whole notebook, which would like probably overwhelm them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. So we like did a bunch of things we wanted to do.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is super sick. Let me put this on S3 real quick. And then, do you want to do a little recap of what we did tonight?
Yeah, we can do that. I really wish I knew what these like rogue rectangles were.
It's like the tree map trying to accommodate more things than it can do, I feel like. All right, I dropped it in the chat, man. That's how easy it is to make websites in 2020.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sick, man. I'm like, I don't know. It's like such a small thing, but it makes me feel a lot more powerful to know that I can take the work out and like see it really clearly how easy it is to take the work out. You know what I mean? Because it's like that last 10% that I've been like. I think for a lot of people, notebooks are an okay output as the final output, but like the stuff that I want to do usually is that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like I need to find another solution. So this lets me see a path to that a lot more clearly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's exactly right? Like the notebook is like the work where you're inside the workshop a lot of times. And you can, certain things lend themselves to being presented in the notebook as well. But like when it's something like this, exactly, right? It's like the visualizations here, we want people to talk about, you want to talk with someone about that, have them consider that. You don't want them to be digging through all the stuff below it, getting intimidated or confused.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, am I supposed to understand this? Or like, am I supposed to be reading this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like I think it's perfect for when you're walking somebody through something, but like without sitting there next to them, it's like showing someone your fucking notebook. You know what I mean? And being like, okay, here you go. Like that's not how you would do it, right?
Versus like a nicely printed out proof of something, right? Like
yeah, or even when I send clients, I'll pick the part of the page that makes the most sense and send them a photo of that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is like the equivalent of that to me, I think.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, we can. There's some things we could clean up and polish up in terms of like a little bit of the data, a little bit of the viz, but we definitely like tried some new stuff today.
Not only did we try some new stuff, but we did all the things we said we would do. And what else can we do?
Yeah. Well, like maybe it's like you said, we should recap what we did, what we set out to do, what we did. And do you want to do the recap this time? I feel like you could do the recap.
Yes. Let me queue up my tabs. You know what I mean?
All right, here. I'll put them in the chat one more time for anybody who's...
Yeah, we got where votes
outstanding.
How about this? I'll do one and then you do one and we can see who does it better in the edit.
Okay.
Here we go.
Collections.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm pretty ready.
Gotta roll up my sleeves for the task of the recap. Feels like a lot of pressure. Is that why you're passing it off to me? because
Pretty
it was
much. Yeah.
I didn't sorry I didn't realize I was putting pressure. I didn't realize I get it now. Your plans totally worked. Okay, so we started with this idea of looking at election data. It is October, and there is an impending election. What types of election visualization is most useful? And I think that visualizing where votes have and have not been counted is probably a pretty useful place to visualize data. So the first thing we did is we sort of made up what election data might look like on an election night, and we made this really cool slider where you can slide like how much of the election has happened and like what percentage of the votes have been counted, and visualize it by county. The lighter they are, the less have been counted. The darker they are, the more have been counted. And that was like the first stab at a visualization. But then, sort of rethinking the best way to visualize it, we took this approach at a tree map, where as you go through the election, well, I guess you start with one block for every county, sized by the votes in it. And as votes are counted, those blocks sort of disappear, and you're just left with, at the end, the biggest and brightest blocks are the places where votes are outstanding, which I think is a great visualization of that. So once we made that, we then took the next step of like, okay, if that's the prototype for our website, what do we want to do if we want to like actually serve that to real people? Say we get real live election data. And Ian showed me the new embed function. I'm not sponsored by Observable, but Ian is, where you can embed things into a real website. I put it into an HTML file and put it on S3, and now you have like a full, like it's like just a full width real visualization of it, and you still get the cool slider where you can move it back and forth. And then I can imagine if I was going to put this into production for real, I would point it at my real elections API or whatever. But that was it. That was our coding with fire for Sunday, October 11th.
Awesome.
That's hard. That felt like a lot longer than 200 or 140 seconds.
You get. Yeah, I did not look at the clock. I probably should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you did good though. I think you did good. I don't think
that felt like hours.
No, it was pretty snappy and
well,
probably
thanks.
spent 30 seconds per topic, you know. So it's probably about 2 minutes.
I did my best. But it was fun. It was a pretty chill night, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got lots of fun sporting events going on that I think drew some attention away from the Coding with Fire crew.
Yeah, but we made some good stuff. Tried some stuff out that we really.
This turned out like just looking at what's on our screens, like not knowing anything about what it is. It could just like looks like some kind of cool modern art. Like it'd be interesting to put real data into this. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's 10:52. If we had another hour, I would consider like taking a real data set, thinking of like some county by county data that we could put in. You know what I mean? That might be interesting to tree map like this.
Yeah, because now that we have it, it's like what.
Or even better, bro, put some patterns in this motherfucker.
Difference, yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is really cool because it actually is. It's like a way of. It's like you can show all 3,000 counties and summarize, like, you know, where it's focused on the state level, so you're getting a sense of like how much the state is doing. But like, for instance, we lose the population aspect. However, we could normalize values.
Well, we still have it. We have votes, which is like kind of population. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah, I'm saying like our simulation, like for that use case, I think it works, right? Because like you're saying, it's like it's a percentage, it's a rate, and when things are complete, they disappear, and that's what we want, right? So
right.
I guess I was saying it's interesting that like what are the other cases where you want to emphasize a small number of counties but like in context of all the states, right?
You just brought up an important point, which is like the next step of bringing this into production that I would do is like, now I have it included, I would also make like how to read this map graphic, you know what I mean? Of like, right, so as the election goes on, there's going to be fewer and fewer counties. You're going to be left with only the ones with votes outstanding, and the bigger they are, the more votes are outstanding, right? And then you click on them and you can figure out like what exactly that is. You know what I mean? Or maybe when it gets down to 2, we start showing their names. Or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
like you know what I mean? Like figure out some way of doing that in an automated fashion. And then maybe at the even underneath this, it's not like a cool visualization, but have like a table, right? Of just all the
Right.
just descending by votes outstanding all counties in the US. And you can just scroll down a list, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. That especially a table where you can see both the percent and the totals too. Because, or like we saw it when we reviewed some of the design submissions for where it was the sentences. There was like how many votes there actually are. What we think the percentage is.
Right. Yeah, you can sort by all of that.
Yeah, it's like there's several columns essentially of data that works well in a table especially when you're like, oh, okay, I'm down to like these 15 counties in this state or something, right? Because that's the other thing that we would be, we'll probably be building over time is like zooming into a state, or like we can do things at the US level, but like a lot of times you want to zoom in and be talking about like this swing state, or right, like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love to like click on Massachusetts and dive into Massachusetts or whatever, right?
Or Wisconsin.
or Michigan or someplace more useful. But yes.
No, I was joking because Wisconsin.
Oh right, well we can't. Or North Dakota.
Yeah, missing data, so we'll have to figure that out before production, I guess.
Well, or you just write I'm ready to write a methodology that's like, fuck Wisconsin. These people can't fill out their EASE forms properly. Like here's the email for the Secretary of State, Secretary of Elections.
I'm just now noticing like what happened to Texas. It's like a big black rectangle.
Because it gets its vote counted really quickly, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I mean, we'll figure it out. But yeah, this is fun, man.
It's been a fun stream.
And we're gonna do it again tomorrow. Right? Same time.
Yep. Same time, same station.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, thanks for everybody for hanging out, making cool stuff. I'm excited. I think we made like a really cool looking map. I'm excited. I have a bunch of people who are interested in this who I can show this to, get some feedback, maybe even before our stream tomorrow. And we're like, I'm doing my job. You're doing your job. I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? In public, which is a cool way to hang out, I think.
It is. It is fun.
All right, man.
Nice.
Have a good night, everybody. Take it easy. Thanks for chilling.
Yeah. Good night. Good luck.
Goodbye.